Thanks everybody for being here on this rainy and cool November day. We all know why we're here. I just wanted to visit a little bit about what's happened. I met with Bob Stitt earlier today. We had a great discussion, and at that point I notified him that we would not be renewing his contract as the head football coach of the University of Montana after it expired on January 31st, 2018. These are tough decisions, ones that do not come without consequence for many people involved, coaches, families, student athletes. But as expected, Bob handled it with absolute class. He was certainly disappointed, but again, nothing but class from head coach Bob Stitt. We had a really good discussion, and we visited for a good 45 minutes. And I have nothing but respect for him and for the way he has operated with integrity. He's worked tirelessly to advance this football program in this university. And I know it can sound a bit of a cliche for a athletic director to thank a football coach as they're on their way out, but I do thank him for his dedicated service and what he has done to help advance this football program. I also met with the team just before I came in here. I have great faith in our student athletes. They are winners. They're tough, they're resilient, and they're great representatives of this university. We're in great hands because of the young people that were in that team meeting room. We'll now move quickly for a search for a new head football coach for Grizzly football. We have so much to offer: great facilities, passionate fan base, wonderful academic experience, beautiful setting, all those things that we know that set Montana apart. I'm confident we'll attract a highly qualified coach. I don't plan to name an interim head coach. Our season is over and don't feel like we need to have an interim in place, but I have asked Chad Germer to take the lead in keeping things moving in the right direction, and I've also asked Justin Green to continue forward with recruiting and assuring those student athletes who have committed to Montana that all will be fine. We're Montana and have so much to offer. We're going to be just fine, and I'm confident in that. I want to be perfectly clear. I have had no conversations with any potential coach candidates, not one, and I want to make that perfectly clear. As with coaching searches, I'll do my best to keep the process confidential out of respect to those involved. You will hear many rumors over the next few weeks, but would ask you to please take those as rumors. I won't comment on rumors. No one's going to comment on rumors. I will stand here with you, stand here with our new head football coach as soon as possible. And I promise you all in this room will be some of the first to know. I give you that assurance. So I'm happy to take questions. Well, there's a constant evaluation of the program. Certainly, yesterday was my opportunity to really process things through. Disappointed in the way the season ended last year, and then disappointed not at all in the performance of our student athletes in our final game this year. They play so hard and play so well, but it had been an evaluation that had taken place over the last 12 months, I think, but it really, in my mind, came to a conclusion as I thought more and more yesterday, processed things, had a chance to separate a little bit from the final game of the year, but that's really when it happened. Peter.
My first question is, how are you? How are you and your staff doing? Seriously, I know this has been a horrible 48 hours.
Well, I think the most important thing, and thanks for asking that question, it's my wife's birthday today, and I have neglected to wish her a happy birthday. Yeah, these are no fun. I mean, this is people. We forget that, and we focus a lot on, 18 to 22-year-olds running around in helmets, and first down Montanas. We focus a lot on that, and we should. This is winning and results. We're in a results-oriented business, but there are people behind these decisions, families, kids who now are uncertain, those type of things, and so you don't take these lightly or flippantly and shoot from the hip on some of these things. It's a process that you've got to work through. There are times you've got to separate out the emotion. There's no doubt, but it's hard to do that if you have a heart beating in you.
What have the last 48 hours or so been like just for you in the decision-making process? Who have you tried to reach out to for advice?
Oh, well, I didn't lack any advice on both sides, and there's people that you start to learn who you can really trust, and others on the staff, and folks at the athletic department who work so hard with all of our student athletes, and but you start to take the temperature, gauge whether or not you're able to stem the tide that's coming, and it became clear that I didn't think that was going to be possible. So there's a lot of good people that are thoughtful. I always appreciate thoughtful advice, thoughtful folks who can step back a little bit from some of the over passion, which is fine, and can give you some good solid advice and some things to consider.
What did the directors of Saturday's game?
Well, I hate to tag it to one game. I understand that's a big game. I completely get that. But like I said, the evaluation process had started, really last year, at the tail end of last year, and then all through this year, really, as you start to look at things. But we want to make sure we're finishing strong and we're competing the right way and we're doing the right things. But it's an ongoing evaluation. I hate to just peg it to one singular event.
Over the last 12 months when you're going through this evaluation process, what did you think you would like to see change the most going forward?
Well, I'll tell you one thing I've really appreciated about Coach Stitt is the culture that he has created. I really want to make sure that continues. This culture of team unity, of respect, collaboration within the department and outside of the department. But I do think we need to get that toughness back, that swagger. The Big Sky Conference, it's a tough conference. It's a really tough conference, and those schools have really elevated their game. But we need to be back. We need to be winning conference championships. We need to be going to the playoffs. Those are things that are critical to us as an athletic department, and they're valuable to our university and valuable to this community and valuable for those things that for those people who are so passionate about us.
What was the temperature of the team when you talked to them? How did they take it?
Coach Stitt and his staff were in there before me, and that was I was not in there when that was taking place, but was close by, and I know that was very emotional. The team, they're resilient. There's not a whole lot of questions, even when you ask them for questions. I think they're typical young adults, teenagers, early 20 folks. But I think there was I had 5 or 6 of them grab me afterwards. I told them, hey, come in and visit with me anytime, and I certainly, there's shock and there's a feeling of, man, where did we let our coaching staff down, that type of thing. And that's just this has nothing to do with them, and they need to make sure that they know that. But it was I mean there's a lot of questions and a lot of change, but we'll find a great leader, and we'll keep moving forward. We got too many great things to offer. Well, my message is this is a great place to be, and we have great opportunities here. We've had great men here as coaches in that football program that have been great mentors, and my message is this is a premier place to come in the FCS and play football. And if you don't believe it, take a look at that football stadium. Take a look at that new Champion Center, academic center, those improvements that we've made, and this is the place to be. And I'm excited. I'm excited for what lies ahead. There's certainly a bit of sadness, a bit of that type whenever you make a change like this. But I'm excited, and our future is bright. Our foundation is solid, and we're gonna be just fine.
All the negativity that came out over the last couple of days, how much do you have to weigh that? How much do you try to push that aside and not get into it?
I honestly do all I can to stay away from it, because it sucks you into a vortex you can't get out of. And I mean, it's impossible to hide from. I get emails and all those type of things, and I appreciate people's emails. I got them all, So, but I really I have a hard time separating. You got to separate there's people behind all these, and that's what gets a little frustrating for me. But it's the nature of what we live in today, and it's the nature of instant communication. And but I really tried to stay away from it as much as I could, so that I could keep emotion from too many things as you're trying to make decisions.
You mentioned the things that made this place a really successful place in the last 25 years or so. What do you think stops past administration or the past leadership to take advantage of some of those things and kind of regain them?
I don't know if I could really give you a good answer to that question. I mean, we've certainly navigated through some NCAA probation issues. We're now back to full force with our scholarships. There's a lot in life that deals with timing and a few breaks, a few things bounce your way. I don't know if I could give you a really good answer to that question.
What's the status with the assistant coaches?
They are all of them have they're on contracts that expire at the end of January. The new head coach will certainly be able to put a staff together. I would encourage the next head coach to look strongly at every single assistant coach we have. I think they're quality head coaches. Many of them with deep roots to the state of Montana, and so I would encourage the next head coach to take a strong, hard look at the folks that are here.
Use the timeline when you would like to start making calls to candidates and when you would like to have something in place?
Well, I'd like to go home and wish my wife happy birthday, but I'll start that process here very quickly. Yeah, very quickly. I don't want to put a timeline on it, because then all you're going to be doing is asking me when that day passes. Well, where are you? So I don't want to do that. There's signing day, there's early signing period this year, December 20th. So I want to move along, and I want to be respectful of other folks and the jobs they're doing and all that. I've already had plenty of people reach out in the last 10 minutes, it seems like.
How much does that early signing day play into this? And have you gained any sense from Justin that he's got a commitment from many players in this 35 that they are going to sign in that period?
You know, really, I can't speak to recruiting, and I certainly can't speak about specific recruits. But I think the early, and this is the first time we've had an early signing period, so I think the coaches are going to learn as they go as well. I was a proponent of the early signing period. I like that, but I'm not a recruiter. You know, I'm not the guy out there getting them to sign NLIs and all those type of things. But we, you know, you certainly want to make sure that you're closing the loop as quickly as you can. I don't know that.
You mentioned all the benefits that Montana has to offer. What do you think is the biggest challenge facing the University of Montana football program?
Well, I think you want to. We want to get some stability. We want to get stability, and I think that's important to have stability. I'm really excited for the future of the university as a whole. I think I'm excited for President Bodner to come in, and I'm excited for the processes that are going through. There's certainly some you know, various growing pains that are happening on this campus, and they impact all of us. They really do. You know, when enrollment's down, we're all struggling. That's less student fee. That's less a lot of things. So we're all in the business of advancing this university, and I really want that in the next head coach. And that's not to say that Bob Stitt wasn't that way, but I want somebody who is an advocate for this university as a whole. This is a great place, a wonderful university in a wonderful community with great people working so hard to advance the mission of this university. And I want a coach that will grasp that and really understand what it's like to be the head coach of the University of Montana, and that you can really advance relationships and you can continue to move things forward. Our job is to have student athletes, bring them here, have them have an excellent academic, athletic experience, graduate, move on, and then be great ambassadors for this university and promote what's going on here and being a part of the solution. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Do you bring in Bodner on that, or is that something that you communicate with the president?
No, I've been communicating with President Stearns. Yep, yeah, she's the president of this university, and you obviously any good athletic director makes sure they're communicating with their president. But no, I've had good conversations with President Stearns, and she's done great things. As an AD, you want to keep as much off that president's plate as you can. They got enough stuff to worry about.
And how important is having University of Montana ties for you?
Oh, I think somebody who understands the University of Montana is important. But if there's a great coach out there that doesn't have those ties, and I feel like they can be successful, anytime you hire somebody new, you try and reduce as many unknowns as possible, but there's not very many you can reduce. And sometimes you open it up and you're not quite sure how people react to certain things. And so you've got to do your due diligence in understanding how they're going to react to certain things. And but it's not critical that they have University of Montana ties. I think but they've got to understand the culture, and they got to understand, or they've got to be willing to go to Glasgow and Sydney and Butte and Havre and be able to say Havre correctly, and make sure that they know it's Lewistown and not Lewiston, those type of things. But those things are all you can learn all those things. But it's somebody who understands the role that they play.
When Coach Stitt first applied your major selling points, his offensive philosophy, his meticulous recruiting, kind of the academic profile that he was able to create in mind. So will you look for similar traits in the next coach as the transition between his program and the next program?
I will. Yeah. No, I want. I want somebody who's going to be focused on the overall student-athlete experience. You can't, there are too many things at stake nowadays in college athletics where you can just let things get out of control, from an academic, from a social, from all those things. APR, you have we have opportunities for new share of revenue from the NCAA based on your academic performances and your APR and your graduation success rates and the federal graduation rates. So now I don't want to slip back on that at all, and that's one thing I've really appreciated about Coach Stitt is his ability to really understand student athletes that can be successful. If they can't be successful in college and you're constantly worried about them being eligible, not going to help you much. So now you look for that overall. I want someone who's collaborative, who's respectful, who is a leader, and who will work tirelessly. And yeah, we'll find someone like that.
People I talk to, there's some concern that sometimes the compensation package here is not as competitive as it is in some top-flight FCS places, and you guys are kind of bound by the board of regents.
Yeah.
By that, is there any chance you guys look outside boosters to try to sweeten that or increase that level?
Well, there's restrictions on what you can do with boosters and coach compensation. So that's one issue right there. You can't have boosters paying the salaries of head coaches, correct? So you've got to be careful on that. But the base, the salary here though has done pretty well over the years, and we gotta stay in line, and we can't just. I mean, we're in at times at the university where we're talking about reductions and all those type of things, and I think we've got to be prudent in how we do things. That's one thing I really like about being at the FCS level is I think we hit a pretty good spot on compensation and kind of keeping it in check, and we need to pay fairly because 26,000 people at a football game is critical to this athletic department, university, this community. I mean, this is a big economic driver for this university, but we want to make sure we hit the right balance, and I think we pay pretty fairly. Plus, we pay in a lot of beautiful sunsets, which I know only go so long.
The last time you were making the head football coach, the program was in a lot different spot than it is now. So can you compare and contrast maybe to just the overall status of the program now and as you go forward with the stars?
Sure. I mean, the one thing I mentioned earlier is we have our full complement of scholarships back. We've got a brand new Champion Center. If any of you have been in that, you know how beautiful that is. We've got infrastructure things in place. We've invested in an academic center, new turf. Like I mentioned, the Champion Center. So I think we're in a really, really good spot. I think we can really launch and move forward from this spot. Like I mentioned before, the Big Sky Conference is a very different conference than it was even 4 or 5 years ago, and unbalanced schedule, and Idaho coming back, and so this is a different conference, and you can see that, boy. You see a Southern Utah and a Weber State, and Northern Arizona and Eastern, and those schools are always good. But Sac State this year. I mean, it's not the same old Big Sky Conference, and we've got to find somebody who can make sure we're there at the top.
Couple more?
Yeah.
What did you learn the last time you made this hire, you transitioned to this hire?
Well, I learned a lot of people are going to tell me what to do, and that'll help. That helps me kind of manage that a little bit. Every hire is different, and everyone has its own unique personality. I've got a great administrative assistant who will help me screen calls and make sure that I'm able to hunker down. I have just a wonderful athletic department staff that is so good at giving me good advice and asking questions of people that you get good answers from. Sometimes as athletic directors, you can, well, I'd only speak for myself. I can't speak for every athletic director, but sometimes you can kind of get locked in on a couple of topics, and you need to have 2 or 3 really great people that you trust say, ask this or ask that. And so I've learned to make sure you rely on really people who are a lot smarter than me, which they're not hard to find. There's a lot of people smarter than me.
And you mentioned how like the big skies changed in the last 4 or 5 years. I think a lot of people's expectations are what they were 5 or 6 years
Oh yeah.
How do you balance that? What do you think the expectations should be?
Well, I said this when I took over the athletic director's job. I'm never going to apologize for having high expectations. I'm not going to do that. We don't want to have. I think you got to keep perspective with the passion, and I think that's the role of an athletic director. You got to make sure, hey, let's not let this get out of control. But high expectations are good things, and they motivate you and they push you. And we've got high expectations here. There's no doubt about that, and we owe that to a very loyal and supportive fan base, and we owe that to this university. So, expectations are a good thing. That raises everybody up, and I think that's happened over the last several years in the Big Sky Conference. Any last questions? I feel like I've been looking this way the whole time, but I guess now I look over here and I realize, it's because the media is really sitting over here. So anyway, thank you for just being patient during the process. I will do all that I can to keep people in the loop and moving forward. I'm not real good at being coy, but I've got to work the process a little bit, and just we'll get somebody in here as quickly as we can and make sure that we can keep things moving forward. All right. Thank you all very much for being here. Appreciate it.